YouTube, we have in today's Meta Weekly, Maxi banned, Apollo banned, Ryzeal banned, Maliss Dormouse, all Bubba banned. By watch as long as you can, that greatly supports these events. Thank you very much, even if we're on in the background while you're folding laundry or doing some homework. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Memento Horror, special summon from the hand. We do have Duel and Lockbird after they add a card from the deck to the hand. We have Gaddock on normal summon, add back from the grave our Sleepy special summon to fuse with their hand or field. We're going into a triple Creation King on summon, send from the deck or extra to the graveyard. This is the chain link block I've been talking about, mate. You need to do this with Sleepy. It does not work with the Memento Fusion. If you are saving your Ash for the Creation King, it is no good. Let's, during the end phase, reset the Memento Fusion. We have how many forms of Disrupt? Can we play through this? We can negate 2 effects to special summon. We could pop at least 1 card in the field, probably more, as we could also use the Memento Fusion to pop multiple cards in the field. About 4 forms of Disrupt. And of course, we top deck into a Full Loss immediately as our turn starts. Let's Fossil dig our way into a Misk. If any deck could play through Disruption, it's got to be the Misk. This turn, during the main phase, dinosaur monsters are completely unaffected by all activated monster effects from the opponent. Unaffected. Stego's going to pop itself to summon, send from the deck a Mist to special summon for the deck, up to 4 bodies. All the dinos are unaffected. So how does this work? We tributed to target to reborn, and if we read the Misk states that you're going to be dinosaurs you control are unaffected. We no longer control that dino, unfortunately. Does it have to tribute itself? Could it have tributed another monster? Did we make a mistake? Tribute this card. That is unfortunate. Negate. Well, despite that, hopefully we still have something, right? Send from the hand 2 cards, draw 2 cards. We're going to Jurrac Alo again. Try to reborn back the Stego as the Wave King Caesar negates. Despite having our full field protection, we may be in big trouble. Miss is going to banish 4 cards from the grave to summon an Oviraptor from the deck. Oviraptor is going to be searching our deck for an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Oviraptor, destroy a Megalode to reborn back on the field the Misk. Use the effect of the Megalode to send a Jurrac to Astro, as we now have a Giga Cannon. What does the Giga Cannon do? When your dinosaur monster destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you could detach a material, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent, then this card gains 1,000 attack. If the Succeed Summon card is destroyed, you could target 1 card in the field and destroy it. That doesn't seem that great. What? 32, that's it? And deal 1,000? What else are we doing? Now we summon the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. We're no longer protected by Misk. That was main phase 1, and we're now in the end phase. Goodbye to the Ultimate Conductor, trigger the field spell. Now, do we have nothing? What is the Astro going to do? When your opponent would special summon, we can't do that. During your opponent's turn, whenever we want, we could special summon a Jurrac Meteor to destroy the entire field. So in grave, we do have that play ready. Ash, negate, the Anguish, all within our own end phase, unfortunately. The Giga Cannon is going to be destroyed by our own card, and when it gets destroyed, you get to inflict an additional 1,000 damage, which will not be that great, obviously, but we do get to target 1 card in the field and destroy it, which, after we're destroying everything anyway, that's not really a thing. Let's Memento Field Spell plus the Acheron triggering to return back the Creation King to our extra deck. Now, this is only within the main phase. Can we choose to, or is it? It's actually whenever we want. During the opponent's turn, banish 2 Jurrac to destroy the entire field. Very carefully, need to plan that out. We do not want them to have a form of disruption to stop our play. What exactly can Memento do to stop us from activating Engrave, to summon from the extra, to then trigger on field to destroy everything? We now have Little Knights. Let's fuse into the Creation King. Creation King will be able to send up to 3 cards in the deck or extra next to the grave. We just have that 1 form of Disrupt, being able to destroy the entire field. We do not want them to extend after we do so, so maybe within the battle phase, if they're threatening lethal damage, is when we wipe them out. What am I missing? You don't have a Jurrac Engrave? What the? No way. Where is the card? I can't check the graveyard because Konami. Obviously that was not my analysis. We could do a deeper dive. Call by the Grave, fingering the Ash Blossom in response to the Oviraptor attempting to search our deck for, very likely, a Misk. Finger the Ash, and let's see what we could do off of just an Oviraptor. We're going to add it to the hand or send it to the grave. Instead, we're sending it to then summon the Jurrac Megalo, which will get the Synchro in graveyard. Do we have a Jurrac in grave? We do. We have a Megalo Jurrac and the Astro Jurrac. This will definitively allow us to summon from the extra deck a Jurrac Meteor whenever we want to destroy the entire field. In addition to non-target destroy the entire field, we have Imperm negate a monster, Impulse negate a special summon, Drone Lockbird further disallow them from adding. About 4 forms of disrupt. Activating great. This is perfect with Droll. Perfect. Generally, Droll is not good against the Fiendsmith engine, but if Engraver Search is tracked and you need that tracked, it is then good. Imperm negate the Goblin from being able to send cards from the deck to the graveyard. Negate. And from there, we set the Eclipse. We are going to, within the main phase, activate to summon the Jurrac Meteor, destroy all cards in the field, then you could optionally summon a tuner from the graveyard. Do we have a follow-up? Great, you destroyed everything. But now what? You have nothing. Nothing activatable in the graveyard, nothing on field, nothing in hand. They have a starter, not only a starter, they have 2 starters and a disruption. Well, it was cool. Yeah, wow, we wiped the field. I'm happy we at least did that. We could full loss them. They could Ash it. Uh-oh. All right, let's speed this up. Negate. Thank you for bringing Jurrac to the tournament. You did get to the top 16, which is quite insane. Thank you for that. And you did at least get to wipe the field once. Very nice. That, I think, would be, you passed the quest. That was the goal. You did it. Creation King, finish him off. Send 3 cards from the deck to the grave. Reborn or 5,000 attack. And that's it. We're good. We don't have to further waste more time. 8,000 damage. Thank you. Please be Maliss for winning very quickly. 2-0. Sage and Maiden are still semi-limited. Sage on normal summon, grabbing the Maiden. Now, Ogre is insane against Blue Eyes. It is, I would say, one of the silver bullets against the deck. Wishes is going to discard the Blue Eyes, search for 2 cards here. What are we willing to do under the full loss? As Maiden's going to send herself to the graveyard, setting up the True Light. We're going to roar our Blue Eyes from the grave back onto the field. As we're now going to Maiden trigger to Reborn. As we now Wishes equip onto the Blue Eyes White Dragon, the ability to negate them from targeting a Blue Eyes monster. This will ensure that the True Light gets negated when it tries to destroy our own field from Engrave. Triple Tactics Thrust, attempting to set a trap from the deck. Ash is going to negate. Wow, we just waited. Sure, Ogre's gonna wipe the True Light, and then the Spirit Dragon is going to negate. Now, we could stop this. We could destroy the whole field. Are you ready? Does T2 Scar know what I know, that maybe some of you know, that this Spirit Dragon with the effect of when an effect in the graveyard activates, you can negate that activation. Can't negate if it gets Chain Link blocked. So we're gonna trigger. The only trigger here, nothing else is triggering. We have to directly change this card. It is up to the opponent. They have to consent to us to negating our own card. We chain DD Crow, we chain a Bestial, that will stop it, and it will destroy the whole field. He knows. He knows. Who told him? Spirit Dragon is going to be jumping off the field to summon from the extra deck, Chain Link block and the True Light negate. Now, the ultimate Spirit Dragon will reborn the Spirit Dragon back on the field, but it's not going to be the same. It is not considered synchro summoned. And if it's not synchro summoned, it is not able to use the effect of summoning a monster from the extra deck to be a form of disruption. This is simply a graveyard negate and nothing else. So in addition to that, if we even want to count that as disruption, we have Valor and Nibiru. Gianna, what are you eating? I smell it from here. Where is that from? Is that a giant chocolate? Is that ribs? What the heck? Okay. Moon of the Close Heaven is here. We have Tearsworn targeting the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, which we could have attempted to either negate, but instead of negating with the Spirit Dragon, we can negate with the Ultimate Dragon. You tried to target me, negate. Now, being able to negate Engraver can be quite great with the Spirit Dragon. It'll be interesting to see if Scar has a way to out the Spirit before that happens, which we do. We can equip the Requiem onto the Engraver, which we will negate that instead, which would be much more ideal if we were able to negate the Engraver instead. So it served its purpose, it dealt with the Graveyard negate, and now we're gonna follow up. Baldrake banish the Maiden, turn these two bodies into the Wallow. Wallow is activating. We're gonna target the Triple Tactics Thrust. What? We are going to activate, we could set it to our field. We're negating that. Negate the effect to set the thrust to our field. Okay, we don't want him to activate it. Of course not, right? Searching your deck for any spell you want. Let's reborn the Engraver back in the field. We do have the Nibiru ready to tribute off the field. Let's Little Knight on summon, activate to banish away the Spirit Dragon. End the turn. That is that. We do have Veiler, DD Crow, Little Knight as our triple disruption. We do have the follow-up of Engraver. Triple Tactics talent reliant on the opponent activating a monster within the main phase. Of course, that's not going to happen. And now if we could just properly play through Nibiru, we have this duel in the bag. The proper play would be to beeline it to a Wave King Caesar, or just set up lethal damage outside of 5 summons. We're already on 3. Requiem's gonna activate the summon for the deck. It's a Crimson Tear setting Engraver here. We are now officially at 5 summons. On the resolution of the sequence, or right now, we're just gonna tribute it off. Now, the reason why you would potentially want to wait for the resolution is if you do not want them to re-summon the sequence through some other play to then activate. You would want them to use up the hard ones per turn. You also lose some cards in the graveyard potentially with the fusion play. We're going to Ash Blossom, negate the Lordy Load, which now allows the Triple Tactics talent to draw 2 cards. We now have a chance in this duel. We draw 2 good cards. We need a starter. Do we have a Blue Eyes and a Maiden Engrave? Do we have a Maiden Engrave? We don't. No Maiden. So if we do have access to a Blue Eyes but no Maiden to reborn, that is no good. The Maiden is banished. That has really messed us up. We're going to Mausoleum, send the Blue Eyes here. Let's reborn the Blue Eyes back on the field. The DD Crow is going to banish away the Blue Eyes just like that. He must feel like he got side decked against. The Mad Lad has DD Crow. He's got Ogre in the main deck. Let's take out the token. And we know that he does have the follow-up of the Lacrima Crimson Tear. The Endless Recursion of Fiendsmith is here. We can't ash the effect of the sequence, activate and diffuse the graveyard, return 2 cards back for the Fiendsmith Lacrima. Newly unbanned in the TCG. Reborn back the Ignumde. Ignumde is going to allow us to get 1800 damage in, then give its 1800 attack onto a newly summoned monster from Engrave. So 18 plus our 24, 4200, then send this to the graveyard to burn for the final 1200 for game. Lethal damage. Damn. Ain't that something? Ignumde plus Lacrima, extra burn, extra 18, extra 1200. Huh? That's not good. Brick does nothing. Mausoleum does nothing on its own. Called by, it's gonna be, I guess, our only form of disruption plus the Ash Blossom. Double disrupt. Let's see what's good from here. Requiem, summon for the deck. We're not fingering the Requiem. Are we gonna finger the Engraver? Yes, we will. Finger the Engraver, just like that, negated for this turn. If we were to have another Engraver, Tract is going to attempt to add from the deck. We're going to ash that negate. And just like that, we are completely out of disruption. We're going to summon our Necroquip Princess, which works against the opponent. If a monster is sent from the hands of the graveyard from either player to activate any card or effect, we now get to draw a card. Barrel is going to be our starter play. Our 1 starter does get negated. Negate the Barrel. Necroquip, we activate a hand trap to negate, so we get to draw an additional card thanks to that. Let's send from the deck the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and now we're going to be able to reborn it if we want to. Why do this preemptively? Well, by activating the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, there is then no monster on the field to then chain your Bestial to, thus you have to preemptively banish. We're going to Crimson Tear, reborn back the Requiem here. This has to be the end for Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes lost their 3rd Maiden, their 3rd Sage. Now, they didn't just -2 starters, they then added 2 other starters. They likely added Piri Reese Map, some people added Bingo in addition to that. Kaiser, they've also added. And this is the end, I'd say, potentially. Yup, just like that. Drew a swarm for game. I would feel immensely targeted here. Full Bestial, Fiendsmith, Control, DD Crow, Ogre. Let's go. Hajime. Let's start this off with our normal summon, Anguish. We do have that Fua Loss ready. Now, Memento can perform many summons from the hand or graveyard to reduce the impact of the Fua Loss. Gaddock being sent from the deck to the grave. This is the perfect Bestial banish. You want a DD Crow. Well, DD Crow on Combined Creation, I would say, is probably better. But your Bestial, which cannot banish the Combined Creation, getting rid of the Gaddock. Gaddock reborns, then adds back from the graveyard to the hand. Perfect banish. As we follow up with the Goblin Grand Breakout to summon for the deck our Memento Goblin. Now from there, we do have a board breaker plus the Call by the Grave, as we're now going to be returning 5 cards in grave back in the deck to summon from engrave our Combined Creation to then pass. Ooh, that was devastating. Now, the Combined Creation has the effect to reborn a monster from engrave or summon from the hand. We have nothing. So the Combined Creation is no effect, effectless, but we do have Super Poly or Ash. Can't use both, so we have 1 disruption to help stop Branded. Start this off with Fusion Deployment. Summon from the deck. We are saving the Ash for a Branded Fusion, but they're just going to finger our Ash. They're going to make a Grand Granola with the Serenir. Serenir's going to send from the deck here, and through these 2 effects, we're going to be able to add a Branded Fusion to our hand. First, we're going to get a Retribution Engrave. We're going to get the Albion Shrouded Dragon, which will send the Branded Fusion. And now we have our perfect play and the way to stop the Ash. We're waiting. Very likely surrendering as soon as our Ash gets fingered. Ash, the Branded Fusion, finger me, surrender button. How quick can we surrender? Click top left, click surrender. Yep, very good. What? Did we forget whose turn it was? No way. What? So maybe you're thinking we had no play. I think we went to normal summon Fua Loss and we activated it instead. Why would we want to summon Fua Loss? Well, tribute a monster you control. You have to tribute the Fua Loss. So we selected it. We went to normal summon it. Or set it, either or, that was too close to the activate button, and as soon as it accidentally activated, we had nothing, no other play. Our starter play was gone. Neprim is going to be activating to search our deck. Imperm, negate. Now, we still have Parelia, which, what? Why didn't we Parelia? That is shocking. You want to use this before the normal summon. Okay, well, we do have Impulse, we do have Ash Blossom. They are now activating an effective special summon from the hand, so we should at least Parelia here. We have non-target negate up to 2 cards, Ash negate an interaction in the deck. We have Imperm negate a monster on the field. Chessie Cat attempting to draw 2, negate. Now, we were really just tricking them into negating this because we definitely wanted to hold on to our Mouse and Underground. We're going to go into our Link Decoder, further banishing with the Chessie. The Bestial's an extender, and we also have the additional extender of the Mouse and Underground. Again, bait out another form of disruption, and then we will lead with the Underground right afterward. We have the Red Ransom being channeling block from an Ash Blossom, but the Imperm or Desiree could still negate it. We're not negating. Now we're going to be searching for the Malice and Mirror. Come to us, or another Underground instead of the Mirror. Now the Mirror cannot even target the Desiree. This is truly forcing their form of disruption. They have to, on the resolution, negate. Now we could still banish the Red Ransom Engrave. The Desiree did not negate the Mouse and Underground. Banishing the White Rabbit come back, set MTP. With the White Rabbit that has already been banished, the MTP banishing it's not going to be triggering its effect to come back, of course. And the Red Ransom being banished by cost from the Access Code Talker. We still have the non-target negate ready. Red Ransom is banishing a March Hare from the deck to add back to our hand here as we further go into Little Knight. Now you have to do something. Little Knight's gonna turn off your negate. Desiree is gonna say, I don't think so, mate. Negate, which will ensure that the Desiree still retains the ability to be untargetable. But that's it. We are done with our disruption. Justinian played through an Ashe, a Desiree, an Impermanence, and he did so amazingly well. Dormouse is banned. We can't banish Dormouse from the deck. So if you can't banish Dormouse from the deck, you can only banish Chessie, White Rabbit, March Hare, and we did. That's it. We banished the only 3 Maliss monsters we can from the deck. That was the ceiling, and we're done. And we still won. And to cope with the fact that we lost Dormouse, we're now playing the Millennium Engine, Wedju Temple. Let's freaking go. We have Gem Knight going first. Neprim searching for the dispersion. We are ready with our Bestial plus Ashe. The Neprim will probably find itself triggering Engrave to try to reborn. That is when we may want to banish it. The Hollow Core is a really good card to banish from Engrave. It is a form of disruption. You do not want it in Graveyard, but if there's multiple copies, that will be an issue. We have all non-links are forced into defense and are negated. We can non-target pop a card in the field. We can Masquerena link off into a double Little Knight banish. We could Drone Lockbird, disallow them from further adding after adding. We could Hollow Core in Grave, negate any activation. Now, it does not destroy, it just negates. So this is about 6 forms of disruption, with one of them being a super floodgate. We are going to force you in defense. You don't even activate because you'll be negated. We're going to make a Lingaribo to special summon the backup from the hand if we want to. We're going to Jurrac, try to banish. We're going to reborn the monster you're trying to banish. By reborning it, your Jurrac now does not come out. But then we don't have Hollow Core in the graveyard to negate whatever we want, but we could use Masquerena to put it back in the grave. Very interesting. We have the Golem. Golem's going to reborn from the back row as we search for a Wedju Temple. Now, why is it not negated? Because it was the effect from the back row. Impulse, negate the effect of Masquerena from going into a Little Knight double banish, plus get the Hollow Core in graveyard. This is a triple disruption we stopped with that one impulse. We now have the Wedju Temple summoning the Senju from the back row. I think there is a big issue with activating Impulse in the hand here. As you can see in the lingering effect window, we now can't activate light monsters. Light monsters from our extra deck, that does not affect the zombie vampire. I guess it will just affect pretty much nothing that's relevant. We're fine, actually. Not even an inconvenience, as we could go right into the Little Knight. That would be the Purge that would turn off the Little Knight, banish away the Baguska, and then surrender. What? Baguska against Ryzeal. Ryzeal would have the protection of making it untargetable and indestructible by card effects. Wow. Dormouse is banned. No door in sight. Chessie activating to banish the White Rabbit. Now, Chessie and White Rabbit, if Chessie has a card to banish, they're 2 starters. None of them are extenders. We have to extend with the Wedju Temple. Are we properly extending with this? We're going to put the White Rabbit in the back row plus the Senju. Senju's going to summon, search our deck for the Golem. Droll and Lockbird. The Golem will not be able to search for the Wedju Temple, which we already searched. We're going to put the Golem and the White Rabbit in the back row to summon a Doom Dragon, as we now go into a Zombie Vampire. Zombie Vampire activating to mill 4 cards. Did we do it? We are reborning the March Hare, Chessie, or the backup Ignister here. Backup Ignister would not be able to search because we're under the effect of Droll. Let's further go. We have successfully extended. Well done. As we now go into the Red Ransom to search our deck, Imperm could negate, but we can't even search, so there's nothing to even Impermate. We could Imperm the Splash Mage trying to reborn from the grave. We do exactly that. Denying the binder. The question could be, should we have went into binder early, but then they would have impermed the binder negates, and then if they negate the binder, we could then further try to extend from there. I think we were just in a bad spot either way. We do have imperm, we do have Ashe, as we don't have Dormouse, which definitely hurts our consistency and power ceiling. We're going to be Hollow Core sending a Gem Knight Fusion from the deck to the grave. Come forth and special summon. Armadillo activating to add a Gem Knight monster from the deck to the hand. Negate. As we're left with just the impermanence. Quartz can set a brilliant fusion into the back row. Quartz could search our deck. We're going to negate the search. We're coping that this ends their turn. But you know and I know, their turn has only just begun, as Quartz is going to be a massive play. If we don't send the Brilliant into the column of impermanence, that is. Brilliant Fusion. 3 cards in the deck to the grave. A branded fusion play. Summon the Diamond Dispersion. Yeah, I think just saying those. Unfortunately, this is the end here. Diamond Dispersion, summon up to 3 Gem Knights from the deck or extra, the graveyard or extra deck, that is. Neprim Search. All right, well, if you had fear that Dormouse Ban was still making Maliss unbelievably crazy top tier, Justinian is a super crazy top tier player, and he does fall to Gem Knight. Maybe it is just exactly what Maliss needs. It's not overhitting, it's not underhitting, it is the perfect hit. The deck is still potentially viable to the point where people are not going to be main decking Lancia to stop it, and then it could still be good enough to just play it. Let's go. First, summon the Tristaros before making our play so we could respond to any activation from the opponent and then summon for the deck. We're going to use Ash Blossom to negate the Sulfador from sending 2 cards to the deck. Ideally, I would prefer to using Veiler or Imperm onto this, but this did work out well. We do have Cluster, which could pop a card in the field. We could use the Ash Blossom to further negate an interaction with the deck. We're going to negate the effect of the Saphira from searching, but we still have the barrier and the low. Now, Cluster could pop the barrier's effect of trying to search the deck. Wipe it away. No search for you. Bell. Your effect is returning a Crystron card back into the deck, and that is not allowed. You cannot add from the graveyard back to the hand, deck, or extra deck. Thus, that being part of the destroy effect is also negated. Negate. It's not a cost to return back, otherwise it would have not stopped it. Why is Cluster gone? It shouldn't be gone. It should still be face up on the field. But unfortunately, we activated the effect on the activation of the card, and Bell negates the activation. Thus, it's sent to the graveyard. Could we have avoided this? Yes. On the activation of the barrier, we could have, in response, flipped up Cluster, and then wait for them to activate the barrier effect, and then Cluster could pop it. But then you could argue, if they didn't have Bell and they only had Ogre, you would laugh at him for playing into Ogre. You can't Ogre the activation of Cluster when it's flipped face down, face up to then pop a card, but you can Ogre it if they flip it up, don't activate, then activate it, and then it would get Ogred. You play around one hand trap that's obscure, then you lose to another obscure hand trap. There was really no way to play around it. Let's bless low is going to reborn from the Skull Guardian here. Skull Guardian searching our deck. We have the negate up and ready, searching for the Sarvis. Yeah, no one expected the Bell, and then you wouldn't expect the Ogre in addition to that. The Ogre is still a form of disruption while on the field, but now it's gone. As we further go into the Chaos Angel on summon, banish a card on the field. Goodbye to the Sulfador. To the face, 7,600 damage. Now we're going to further go into the Moon of the Closed Heaven, which goes into the Fiendsmith Lacrima, which burns for 1,200 damage. Thus, it was lethal damage. Oh boy, lots of Fiendsmith today. Senjin, activate to search our deck. We're going to negate the special summon and the search in one if it does not get cross-out designated. Of course it will be. Omni negate is ready, mates. Oh my Jesus. Disrupt, 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 and droll. 7 to 8 disruptions. Good luck, Voiceless. Engraver. Attempt to search. Citri is going to reborn the Sulfaneer, potentially going into a Dragster here. Now, an important ruling with Dragster would be, can it negate an already face-up spell and trap card? because low will play the card face up. Let's read that. Each time, okay, where is it? When your opponent activates a spell, trap, card, or effect, the or effect part ensures that an already face up or a spell, trap, card, engrave will be negatable. Let's grab the tract. Let's draw on Lockbird, which is devastating to the engraver adding a tract. We do at least have a Lurdy already in the graveyard to return back to summon our engraver. As we now cluster pop it before it goes into Requiem. Return back the Citri, wipe it out. Let's now Barrier of the Voiceless, then end. I mean, we're under the effect of Droll. We can't even freaking add from our deck. 1-1. Let's go. Engraver, searching our deck for the track. Let's draw on Lockbird. That we do have the triple tactics. We can't draw two, but we can look at the hand to return back the Designator. Is it not insane that Abdullah is still playing Lancia despite Dormouse being banned? I think so. We do have Ash and Impermanence. We're going to send Jin into the back row, activate to summon and search. We're going to Ash, negate that. Not today. We do have Imperm for when they inevitably get the Sulfador on the field. Smiger sent to the graveyard. Banish to search our deck for the Inclusion. Inclusion, search our deck for the Tristaros. Summon Tristaros, pop the Inclusion. We can't Imperm this now. You could try. The Tristaros will chain to Imperm, summon a tuner, then Synchro with the Sulfador to dodge the Impermanence. Thus, we're in big trouble. Let's go into the Alesk. Alesk is going to attempt to add back from Engrave, possibly the Cluster, as the Imperm will now successfully wipe it out, but we still have the ability to +2 additional bodies in the field. From 1 body in the field, we're now going to have 3 as we pop it with Tristaros to summon 2, and then summon an additional 1 from Engraver Banishment. We do also have the ability to give low that good suck with our Cyber Dragon Infinity. And we're just going to skip that and go straight to the battle phase. 4 bodies in the field, 8,400 damage, lethal damage. 2-1, Crystron takes it. There was a branded, yes. Firewall Defensor is going to be our play. We're going to Fool Lost them up. Follow up into a Triple Tactics talent. Maxi is banned in today's event. We're going to return the Mausoleum back into the deck and then completely end our turn on 0 disruption. Barrel off the top of the deck. Barrel's going to be setting a Lordy Load. Lordy Load, activate to search our deck for our Drill Beam. To battle we go. Wipe out the Defensor here. And now we're going to go to Aussil. First, we're going to Spear with Eyes of Blue, grab a Mausoleum, load someone to Blue Eyes in the deck, further go into the Hieratic Seal, as we're going to have at least 2 forms of disruption. Return a face-up card back and Drill Beam, negate and banish any card in the field, but we are required to have a Blue Eyes in the field to even activate this. Thus, the secondary effect of the Heavenly Sphere cannot be negated. Firewall Phantom. Ew, well, mate, we cannot play through a Hieratic Seal plus a Drill Beam. To game 2 we go. We did lose to Fool Loss despite Maxi being banned. Fool Loss is still here. We got Dotscaper up in here. What is going on? I Connect is going to reveal the Code of Soul. Terahertz can negate a face-up card. Cryptor can non-target banish a card on the field. We're going to be able to negate a spell and trap card instead with the Disabler. Let's hop into game number 3. Maliss now going second. Sage on summon. We have nothing. Well, fully uninterrupted turn 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon deck as we have Wishes searching for 2 cards in the deck. Sage for the additional normal summon. Roar of Blue Eyes in the deck onto the field, trigger the Maiden from Engrave. As we now Spear with Eyes of Blue, search our deck for the Mausoleum. Let's further turn our 2 bodies into a Hieratic Heavenly Sphere, activate Mausoleum, target the Maiden to Reborn Blue Eyes White Dragon from the graveyard, to send a Blue Eyes in the deck to the grave. Wishes is going to equip onto the Blue Eyes a Neo Ultimate. As we now make a Spirit Dragon alongside a Hieratic Seal, we have the True Light setting a Majesty. Additionally, normal summoning our Sage, searching for a Veiler. Wow. This is a great field. return a face up, we can negate anything, we can imperm, negate a monster, we can non-target pop up to 2 cards in the field. We can also veil or negate a monster on the field. About 6 forms of disruption. What is this going to be good for? Code of Soul is an extender. I Connect can extend. We have 2 different starters here. Blue Eyes on the field to ensure our Drill Beam will be activatable. We're going to start with a normal summon Chessy Cat and just bounce it back right away. I Connect, reveal Code of Soul, searching for the backup Ignister. What about the effect that special summons from the hand? If you reveal a dark, you could special summon the revealed monster. If you do, add 1 level 4 lower non-dark Cybers from your deck to your hand. I guess we are done. Well, okay. Let's True Light, Reborn, Blue Eyes White Dragon. Please, White Lightning. Yes, indeed. White Lightning for game. 2-1 victory. All right. Through a loss in the standby phase. This has to be a, what is this? A Lightsworn Tearlament deck? Set Grass Looking Greener into our back row. Set Paradise and pass. We got Meowsed and Foolost. Any summon from the graveyard, banishment, deck, or extra deck would result in a draw. Well, now Memento is going to super pop off from that. Summon the horse alongside the Anguish. Anguish, Reborn the Goblin from Engrave. If you're wondering, what are our disruptions? Well, the Mudora's negated. Fiendsmith of Paradise does nothing. We got nothing. 0. Blank field. We essentially just have 9,500 life points, and that's it. That is what the Mudora is contributing. As we Twin Dragon, pop, search our deck. Let's Reborn from Engrave after being destroyed. Special Sleepy, Fuse of the Field, or hand. Creation King, send Creation, send the Acheron. Let's Creation King, search our deck for the field spell after banishing from Engrave. Let's pop ourselves, plus the Paradise. Paradise is still not a form of disruption, even though it's Engrave. We need a Light Fiend to even be triggerable. We're gonna Maze pop, search our deck for the Bone Party. Let's add back the Memento Fusion with the Acheron effect being destroyed. Dark Blade, wipe away the grass looking greener. Pop itself, summon from the deck. As we further link off into an Artemis, let's special summon the Twin Head Dragon as we now return 5 cards from the grave to Reborn our Creation King. We now have Celine Nabida with at least 3 spells among both players' fields and graveyard. We could remove 3 to Reborn an Anguish from Engrave, go into an Access Code Talker. Access Code, boost 5,300, summon the Combined Creation for over 10,000 damage. Could just go to the battle phase with this. No need to wipe out the Mudora early. Lethal damage. Tearlament, please do something for game 2. I want to see the plays. Show me the way. Lightsworn Tearlament. We're dealing with an Impermanence. We're dealing with an Ash. Can we play through it? I'm Seti's going to be the Ash. Uh-oh. I'm Seti, get the transaction rollback and graveyard. Transaction rollback needs a good trap engraved to copy. There, of course, is none. Ash negate the ability to search and draw an additional card. As we activate our Tearlament Scream. The L set. Okay. Very nice. Again, 0 disruption. This did not work out. Would Merly unban had fixed his hand? I guess we could have normal summon Merly, trigger, Scream, and Merly, right? That would have been pretty good. I think Raga needed Merly. Is that what we do for Raga next week? Unban Merly, limited to 1. Grab Memento Fusion. Let's send from the deck. Just go for lethal play. Come on. No, no, no. Yes, keep Merly in jail. F no. Please no tier. Is that too contentious to unban Merly? We really are fearing that Merly tier limit would be broken. Give them 1 Merly. Just 1. And they'd go nuts with it? Someone said Merly to 1's not enough. You have to also put Hovness to 3. Keep on going. Field spell to 1 instead. Direct attack, lethal damage thanks to the Acheron. 2-0. Both duels back-to-back, no disruption turn 1, unfortunately. Let's keep on going. Let's go. What? Emergency is not a starter unless we have another rescue ace to send to the grave. Thus, we have Imperm, Ash, that is it. Double disrupt. Dispersion's going to search the deck. Ash is going to negate that search. Not knowing that we just negated a non-branded fusion against a branded fusion deck. Let's normal summon the Quem. Quem on summon's going to send from the deck an Albaz monster. We're going Albaz card, that is. Negate. Not today. Any card that mentions the Albaz. The battle we go, 15, and it looks like the Ash and Imperm on the very first usable effects was able to work. Now, with the fusion duplication copying something from a graveyard, it's only going to be able to target a fusion or polymerization, normal or quick play, thus not usable. We're going to use the Book of Eclipse to right away flip down the Hydrant non-targeting before it's even activatable. Now, does the emergency work with the Hydrant? Let's read that. Special summon a rescue ace, then tribute 1 rescue ace from your hand or field. We are going to, in fact, go through with it. Ash is going to negate. We're going to cross out designate. Negate the Ash. Is this the end for Abomod? Banish away our Ash as we summon from the deck. Come forth Airlifter, tributing off the Hydrant on field. It did not specify it had to be a face-up rescue ace on field. As we now alert. I think Konami forgot that part of the effect. Generally, a lot of those effects will say tribute from the hand or from face up on your field. As we additionally summon the Hydrant that had not yet activated. And just like that, we are hopping into game 2. Let's start this off with a Springen Kit. Search our deck versus, this is a Ryzeal rescue ace deck. We're going to be able to non-target banish. Do we have an Albaz in graveyard? We do. We could send a Rinbrum to then further fuse to the field, then go into a form of disruption. We could also search for a Mercurial. We could Ash negate. We could also reborn and fuse, and then fuse into a form of disruption. About 7 forms of disruption. Imperm can turn off the Mirror Jade effect of non-target banishing, but we can still reborn the Albaz to fuse to the opposing field. Grab a tract. We're not going to Ash the search of the tract. We're not going to even negate the tract, searching for Lurie to get it out onto the field. Come forth Lurie, getting ready to... We probably would have non-target banished that, as we're now going to make the Requiem. Requiem is a great Ash. But we don't do it. We're holding the Ash. Summon a Crimson Tear, send Engraver here. Engraver is... I think we're holding Ash for the emergency. We see this as bait, and we don't want him to follow up emergency, which Airlifter could search for. Engraver, send Requiem, plus the Lubellion, as we now make our sequence. Sequence, we're going to fuse with that. We're going to Rinbrum send to the graveyard. Rinbrum is going to be reborning the Albaz. As the Albaz attempts to fuse with the sequence, which of course will go through. Discard the Alibur, fuse with the sequence into our Albion Branded. Now the Albion Branded should be a part of these 1 of 5 disruptions, as the Lost further searches for a Mercurial. Every disruption I've accounted for has been going through so far. We are now, with these 2 bodies, going to the Boarlord Furious. Now, normal summon Airlifter, search our deck for the emergency, which we gotta be thinking. I tracked, I Requiemed, this is safe. He is not going to Ash this. No one in their right mind would have not Ashed something else at this point. Abomod, it has lost his mind. He is a mad lad. So of course he held on to the Ash to negate the emergency. Moonveil is like, damn, you got me. Boarlord Furious is going to pop 2 cards during the end phase, scoop it up. Let's hop into game 3. Hydrant, searching for the Turbulence. The Rescue Ace back row cards require you to control a Rescue Ace on the field. If we fully flip it face down, we're potentially turning off their back row if they don't have a way to potentially reborn and get another rescue ace in the field, which they very likely will have a way to play through the Book of Eclipse, I would suspect. We also, of course, have the grass looking greener, potentially milling up to or more than 20 cards off the top of our deck. We do have Ash, though. What do we ash? Let's sequence into Fiendsmith Lacrima. Let's reborn the Engraver, Wave King Caesar, negate the effect to special summon. Now, this is actually interesting. Spell or trap card or monster effect that is activated that includes the effect to special summon a monster. Does this stop the Brilliant Fusion? Brilliant Fusion, when this card is activated, so it is on the activation of the card, not the activation of the effect, you would in fact be able to negate that. Let's summon the Turbulence. Let's set up to 4 cards in the deck. We can negate a monster, we can destroy a monster, we can flip a monster face down, we can negate a monster with impermanence, we can negate a special summon, we can negate a special summon, we can negate an interaction with the deck. We have at least 7 forms of disruption. Emergency early to play extra into the Book of Eclipse. Preventer, reborn the Hydrants. Grass looking greener. Ash negate. Not today, mate. I can't wait for the Branded Fusion. I have to negate that grass, which would have milled 21 freaking cards. Alibur normal summon, so we're at 6 disruption now. Alibur's attempt to search. Contain not only negates the Alibur, or it does it, because Book of Eclipse is going to dodge the negate. It would have further disallowed us from using it for an extra deck play. Full field flipped face down. Now, let's re-talk about our forms of disruption. We can't extinguish a monster because we have to control a rescue ace. We could imperm. We can't Wave King Caesar because it's face down. So all of that disruption we had up to 7 is now just 1 impermanence. Well. Huge Book of Eclipse play. Send from the deck. Book of Eclipse is great in any fusion-centered deck because you could fuse with your own face-down monsters. We're going to imperm, negate the Albion Branded Dragon. That's it. 0 disruption left. Abumod, have your way with me. Do whatever you want. Let's go. Reborn the Bestial Lubellion, tributing off the Albion Branded Fusion, setting up the Branded Loss, activating the Brilliant Fusion. We do send 3 Gem Knights instead of a Fairy or a Light, going for our Diamond Dispersion. Branded Lost is triggering. The Nepram is further triggering to reborn itself from Engrave. Send the Serenir from our hand, as the Serenir will further send a branded card from the deck to the grave as we grab the Albion Branded. We're going to be triggering the Nepram to search our deck. Serenir send from the deck. We're going to get some good insight to these Gem Knight branded plays here. Adding the Gem Knight Fusion through the effect of the Nepram. We have the Retribution adding back from Engrave our Branded in white, which we sent there through the effect of Albion, further drawing into a Thrust. Let's now activate Branded in white into the Lubellion Searing. We can't respond to any of these card effects if we had anything. And we also would not be able to use the Wave King Caesar to negate because the Branded Loss protects fusion effects from being negated. The activation, that is. You have Diamond Dispersion in response to the Star Source Dragon, popping 2 cards in the field. Wipe them. Lacrima's going to burn for 1,200. No one cares. Alert is going to grab a Rescue Ace from Engrave. Back to our hand. We can't search our deck. We have to have a face-up Hydrant in order to do so. Preventer being here is doing nothing. To battle we go. Over 13,000 damage. Nepram 1550, 2,500, and with the Gem Knight Fusions for game. We had Hollow Core and Graveyard, being able to Omni-negate anything. Negate the effect, does not destroy or banish, but still being able to negate anything is crazy. 2-1 victory, let's go. And that was the top 16 of our custom banless event where Maxi Apollo, Ryzeal, and Dormouse were banned. We still had 2 Maliss players in the top 16 and 1 Ryzeal player playing with Rescue Ace. We're going to be starting off the top 8 with Gem Knight branded, 60 card Gem Knight branded deck. Make sure you do not miss out on that. Let's go.